Someone out there must have it for Massa Jerry Jones. I knew there was a reason why I called this man Massa Jerry. I just said something about him just gives me plantation owner vibes. And this picture that got put out there recently just basically sealed the deal for me. So in case y'all are unaware, we already know that decrepit old thing on the left is Jerry Jones, but in the picture on the right is a young Jerry Jones with the red circle around his face. That is Jerry Jones back in 1957 during a protest where a group of PC students, as you can see right here in this picture, were blocking black boys from entering the school. It was called in Little Rock, Arkansas. I think it was called the Little Rock 9. I think that's what it was called. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong. It was a major situation back during that time. But I'm gonna go ahead now and read this article coming from Sports Illustrated. Ahead of his team's Thanksgiving matchup with the Giants, Cowboys owner Jerry Jones was in the news Wednesday after a photo surfaced from his past showing his connection to one of the first instances of public school integration in his home state of Arkansas. The photo, taken on September 9th, 1957 at North Little Rock High when Jones was 14 years old. You couldn't tell me he was 14 in that one because he looks older than 14. It shows a group of white students blocking the doorway and shouting slurs at 6 black students as they tried to enter. Jones said he went there as a curious thing, quote unquote, with no intention of harassing the black students. We ain't falling for that. You knew exactly what was going on down there. You wasn't going out there for no curiosity. You was going out there to join in your with your PC brothers and say what you said. You can't tell me a slur did not leave this man's lips at least not one time while he was out there. It goes on to say he also said that he didn't realize at the time how significant a moment it was. Jerry Jones, you was 14 in 1957. Excuse me. You were old enough to know what the climate was at that time. Don't fall for this. To the people out there that's listening to this right now or are well aware of the story right now, do not fall for whatever it is that he's saying. He knew what time it was, because I'm sure there were other people out there around the same age as him who knew what time it was too. Look at them faces. Look at how they look. They knew exactly what type of time it was and why they were out there. It says, I don't know that I or anybody anticipated or had a background of knowing what was involved, Jones said, per Dave Marinis and Sally Jenkins of the Washington Post. It was more of a curious thing. When pressed about his role in attending the event and how he behaved in the moment, Jones emphasized his primary motivation was curiosity and that he was not so concerned with about the historical importance of the moment, but rather getting in trouble with his high school football coach. This is a bunch of BS and people are going to fall for it. Later in the interview with Marinis and Jenkins, which focused on Jones and the Cowboys' hiring practices with regards to black coaching candidates, Jones reflected on that time in his life and expressed regret at not trying to do more to help black students feel more included. See, this is all the more reason why we know why he was out there, because if you look at how he is as the owner of the Cowboys and how he's acted over the years while being the owner, and look back at this, it all makes sense now. This is how he feels. This is how he always has felt. He was in Arkansas in 1957 at the age of 14. You cannot tell me that this man has not called a black person a N-word at least once in his life. And I'm talking to their face. I'll be very candid with you. I've often asked, why didn't you do more? Jones said, why didn't you get up and have them come up on the bus and sit rather than standing back there? Why didn't you do more? We know why you didn't do more, Jerry, because you didn't want them up there. See, he trying to play this thing of being so oblivious, and I know he probably going to throw the thing about his old age in there as well. He's going to literally hide behind all of that. Don't fall for his antics. Jerry Jones knew exactly what he was doing when he went down there when this picture surfaced. He just didn't expect it was going to pop back up. Kudos to the person who found it and was able to point him out. Because I'm going to be honest. If I saw this picture online I wouldn't have been able to point anybody out in here that had any significance. As far as I'm concerned, all of them, with the exception of those black boys, are POSs. If they said, can you point out someone who is famous in this image? I'd be like, no, I couldn't. I would probably have a better chance of finding Waldo in one of his many images that are floating around in the world. I would have a better chance at finding Carmen Sandiego if they didn't put a circle around his picture to say that that was him. And that is indeed him, because if you look at his face, it still looks kind of the same. It's just more wrinkly. And looks like it's been through a shredder. But yeah, that's Jerry Jones out there with these other PC boys throwing slurs at these black boys that all they wanted to do was just get an education. But don't fall for that nonsense of him saying, oh, I was just out there for curiosity purposes. No, we ain't falling for that crap. That is a bunch of bull, and Jerry Jones knows it. But the bigger question that I have, and shout out to Town Biz, is what did his organization feel about this? You know, the Cowboys, the black players at least. What do they feel about this, knowing that their owner, someone that they gave them a job and they've taken pictures with, and so on and so forth, how do they feel knowing that this man was out there all those years ago at this event and doing what he did? Like, literally, this could have been their grandparents, for all we know, or some of them their parents. Who knows? I'll say grandparents. But yeah, Jerry Jones ain't shit. It's a reason I called him Massa Jerry. For a reason. I couldn't put my finger onto why I did it, but like I said, he just looks like he owns some slaves. And then we'll see this picture right here, and it all makes sense. And don't get me started on the buck dancing, shucking, jiving, corn shucking buffoons that I saw on Twitter, mainly literally throwing the cape on for this man. I literally saw in a thread where you had all these people up and down the timeline going crazy in the comment section, throwing on the cape for him. And unfortunately, but not surprising, it was mainly black men that was doing it. I mean, I get it if you like the Cowboys, or as I call them, the Cowgirls. I get if you understand that's your team or whatever, but you don't know this man to be throwing the cape for him. And that's exactly why Jerry Jones continues to get away with what he does, because you have people like that in and outside of mainstream media who's going to continue to throw the cape on for him. And the thing is, it's not just Jerry Jones and which can get away with it. When you combine Dub S with the buffoonery and the buccoonery or the shakoonery or whatever you want to call it, in the Samboism of black people, and you meshed them together like the polymerization card in Yu-Gi-Oh, and you fuse them together, this is why they remain in the spots that they are in. And that just shows you right there where the two cancers are. And what do you have to do to get rid of a cancer? Well, I'll leave that up to your own imagination.